a lot of medieval European cryptids are well known today. So well known, in fact, that they are some of the most adapted fictitious creatures in pop culture. Some of these monsters include the dragon, the unicorn, the mermaid, and the ogre. However, there are many other lesser-known cryptids that have been receiving less attention in the modern day, which could very well be understandable. In this video, I will be covering 3 of the strangest medieval creatures which are not talked about much today, and 1 honorable mention. First, we have the monopods. They can be summarized as people who only have 1 leg, and at the end of that leg is a giant foot which they could hop around on. Their origins can be traced back to an ancient Greek play written by a man named Aristophanes. Stories of this creature continued in the medieval era, where a scholar named Isidore called them sciapodes, or sciapodes, and said that they were very fast, even though they hopped around on 1 foot. Secondly, there are the blemmies. Like monopods, blemmies are described as being similar to humans, but with 1 key difference. In this case, the difference is that blemmies have no head. Instead of a head, their face is on their chest. Their origins can once again be found in ancient Greece. In the Middle Ages, they were given the term acephalous, meaning headless people who had their head features relocated on their body. Before we get to our last creature, I would like to talk about our honorable mention, the sea monk. The reason it's an honorable mention is because it is first written about in the mid-1500s, which is after the Middle Ages, but a bit close to there. It is described as a fish that looks like a monk. It was supposedly caught and written about in several books, but like most aquatic humanoid sightings back then, it was more than likely something like a seal. I put this in the video because A, it's a creature in a time period close enough to medieval times, and B, I think it's funny that some ship caught a seal and thought, is that a monk? Finally, the cynocephali. I hope I'm pronouncing these right. Again, we have a creature that is a lot like a human, but with 1 massive change. In this instance, the cynocephali have dog heads instead of normal heads. This time, this creature seems to have come from a lot of elements of Egyptian mythology, which makes sense as most ancient Egyptian gods were depicted looking like human-animal hybrids. Some of these stories of dog-headed creatures are also found in ancient Greek tales, of course. In medieval Europe, stories of the cynocephali were sometimes connected to werewolves. Also, the court of King Charlemagne of the Holy Roman Empire compared the Nordic people to cynocephali because they were not Christian and seen as inferior. In my research, I have noticed the cynocephali seem to show up a bit more in medieval European writings. I could be wrong, but that's what my research showed, than the other 2 creatures in this video. I like to keep my videos short and to the point, but if you want to look more into this, I highly encourage it. In conclusion, there are other cryptids that, while not entirely coming from medieval Europe, were in the same vein as dragons, mermaids, and unicorns. I have no background in this subject. I'm just a YouTuber who likes to research and talk about these things. So next time you're planning a generic knockoff of a fantasy franchise, you now have 4 new creatures to spice it up. Thanks for watching.